everyone, and welcome to Oregon Football with Chip Kelly, Joe Johnsante, Mike Jorgensen, and head coach Chip Kelly after a great flight home after the Ducks took care of the University of Tennessee Volunteers in Knoxville on Saturday night. Coach, what a night, just a historic night for the University of Oregon and also for your football program.
Yeah, it was special. You know, obviously a tremendous place to go play a game. Nicest stadium, I think. Well, I know we've been in since I've been here, and their crowd was fantastic. And, you know, to go into SEC country and win a game like that says a lot about our kids, especially how it started off. I don't know how long the delay was, but, you know, spend that time in the locker room and then come back out. But we had a lot of players contribute again, and it really talks about what type of team we have. And it was contributions, offense, defense, special teams again. So.
Coach, you talked about it from a standpoint of, you know, don't be awed by the stadium, and yet you just mentioned it. When you stepped out there, it was really something, wasn't it? A great atmosphere.
It was a great atmosphere, and you know, we had played in front of 100,000 in Michigan, but I think this layout of this stadium was a little bit different. So, you know, I think all of us kind of looked around and said, wow, it's a pretty neat place, and it took us a little while to get focused on what we had to do. And you know, they give them credit. They're a good football team, and they came out and played hard early. They did some nice things to us to attack us defensively in that first drive, and then, you know, it looked like we were going to answer back on the kickoff return, but we had a fumble, but our guys didn't flinch, and that's what I really like about this football team.
Coach, going into the game, a lot of talk was made about traveling to SEC country and the Pac-10 and the SEC, and you've eloquently mentioned many times that the Pac-10's had success against the SEC, and people also focused on the fact that they think Tennessee is down. This is still a team with a lot of great football players that can recruit at the highest levels, and we saw that during the game, didn't we?
Yeah, I'd like to be that down.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they've been to a bowl game for I don't know how many years, and they've had a tremendous run. They've won national championships, so, you know, I don't think, you know, it's what everybody says it is down there. I think, and when I look at the talent on that team, that running back can play anywhere in the country. Their offensive line is young, but they're very, very good, you know, and there's guys in that front seven on defense that are outstanding football players. So, you know, I think they're going to win some games this year, and they're going to be a team that, you know, people will talk about when the season's over, that, you know, Tennessee's a little bit better than people are giving credit for right now.
Yeah, I'm sure Darren Thomas seeing Montorie Hughes in his dreams the next night.
He's a heck of a player.
He was great on the defensive line. Let's get to it, Coach. Let's go right to it. We'll get into the highlights and show you what happened in this game and go over it. Ducks take the field. Again, this is the first time I felt the pressure on the ear that you feel at Autzen. So this was louder than any place we have been over the last 11 or 12 years, Mike. Louder than Oklahoma, louder than a lot of these big stadiums have gone.
Well, same pitch. That's the thing about it. The pitch was just unbelievable, and obviously they opened up with a big play right off the bat, Coach.
Yeah, they lined up in unbalanced, and half our guys got the check, the other half didn't, and they made a play.
Then they throw outside right here, Sims to Moore, 17 yards, and they're in business, but the defense tightens up right there and forces them to kick a field goal. It's a 48-yard field goal attempt by Lincoln. He hits it on a nice-looking kick, and the crowd was really rocking at that point. But, hey, 3 but not 7. That was pretty good.
And that's what we were hoping for. We got to stop and kind of figured out what they were doing and held them to 3 points and thought we were going to answer right here with a big kickoff return by Kenyon. Unfortunately, their DB makes a great play right in front of our bench, you know, right there, and rips it out. The ball's on the ground, and no, we don't have it again offensively, and they're back on the field again, capitalizing on the turnover.
Well, Coach, you always coach the sudden change defense. You got to be ready at any time, and even though, again, they pop a big play right off the bat, a little misdirection, your defense comes out and plays well.
Eddie played really well out back, made a couple really big game-saving tackles, you know, for touchdowns, and to hold them to a field goal there, we felt pretty good being down 6-0 at that point.
That was a 35-yarder by Lincoln. It's 6-0 at that point. And then, Coach, the weather just came. It was unbelievable. Look at this footage that we have from up at the press level. The rain was coming down, going up. The crowd was on the field. People were running around. It was an absolutely wild scene.
Yeah, we were in a locker room. I didn't catch any of that. So I knew it was raining, but I didn't know this stuff was going on. And the officials were great. They had warned us before the game that there was a cell coming in. If it got within 6 miles, we were going to vacate the playing surface, and then they would come back and get us. And they kept us informed the whole time. So, you know, we talked to our players. We didn't say much when we were in there. It was just, you know, they're going through the same thing we're going through. So who handles it better than the other team? So.
Well, what's up with the Mo Center? I mean, you had the humidity up. I mean, maybe we need to add some lightning and some showers, you know.
Can we do that? That's a good point. I didn't know if we could simulate actually lightning strikes and some of those things, but.
It was really something. But your guys came back, Coach, and seemed like it just kind of settled things down after that. Even though you didn't moved the ball a lot on that position when you got the ball back after the lightning delay. Still seemed to calm things down a little bit.
It did, getting a feeling out process of what it's going to be like, how those guys are going to be, how they're going to defend us. You know, it was a real unknown going into the game what they were going to use, because they didn't use a whole heck of a lot what they did against Tennessee Martin. So just get that first drive underneath our belt and get comfortable with what they're doing.
Well, in that first quarter, Coach, explosion plays was kind of the common theme. And you talked about it a little bit earlier in that first quarter. They came out with a power running game, and they really controlled the line of scrimmage in that first quarter.
Yeah, I think they more caught us with some unbalanced things, and we just had to make the adjustment. And once we got settled down to the right adjustment, we got clued in on how to stop them. But they did do a nice job. We're pretty efficient in that first quarter. And again, I thought their running backs one of the best I've seen in the last couple of years.
They had 132 yards in the first half running the first quarter running the football. And this was a huge stand right here. They get a 2-yard gain right here. Sets up a 4th and 6. They're tired of getting 3. They want to get 7. They go for it on 4th down. This ball might have been picked if they didn't get tipped.
Yeah, you know, our defensive line did a great job. Brandon Bear had 2 knockdowns on the day. That's one of the things we like in our big defensive linemen, is being able to get their hands up and shut down some of those passing lanes.
And so now, Coach, it's time to get it going a little bit here. And a few plays here and there. Darren Thomas throughout this game so far. And really, this is your second possession. Get a first down, start making a few plays, and just it looks like the offense let the game finally come to them.
Yeah, they were trying to pack the box and take away the run, so you got to make them pay with the play action game or the quick game or Darren running the ball, and I think that's what we did here early on this drive.
That was a 6-yard run by Darren Thomas, and then the big play here from Thomas to Jeff Mail that makes a nice spin on 3rd down, converts a 12-yard pickup. Then the Ducks get held up. They got to go for the field goal here on a 4th and 9 play. And Rob Beard comes in and nails a 37-yarder, his first field goal as a Duck.
Yeah, Robbie did a great job for us. He's our kicker. Had a great day all day long. And for his debut at Tennessee, I was really, really happy with him.
From a special team standpoint, Coach, and we'll talk about this throughout the game, your special teams, other than the opening kickoff return, were really, really good yesterday.
Yeah, we played, and we knew going on the road that was going to be the key, is how well we played in special teams, and that would really dictate the outcome of the game, and I thought that's where we had a huge advantage.
They had a couple of nice runs again here. Here's Poole. He was running for 14, then this one's for 23 yards for a first down. Then they go to the air, a little fade route. They like this ball, kind of a jump ball, Coach. He did it quite often during the game. Got it down to the 1.
They got some mismatches on the outside. A couple big young freshman receivers, and just went up and got it over Talmadge. It was a good play by their guy.
As I mentioned, they had a big first half, just about 200 yards first quarter, 200 yards of total offense in that first quarter, Coach. And you know, I know that you started to see some things, though, I mean, from the booth anyway, that there was starting to be some changing on the offensive line, on the defensive line. The holes weren't as big. You know, there was a little different push, I thought, Mike, as we started to see the first quarter really go on.
Well, Coach, you mentioned even the adjustments that you made, you know, a few misalignments and that type of deal, and then those explosion plays. But as the second quarter kind of got in there, the defense adjusted, the offense began to pick up the pace, everything started to come back again, didn't it?
Yeah, and that's we knew going in, because it's a brand new coaching staff down there, so exactly what were we going to get? We couldn't base everything based upon just the Tennessee Martin game. We had looked at Louisiana Tech film, Boise State film, Texas Tech film, and then you're kind of guessing. So we knew the first quarter was going to be a feeling out process, and I thought our defensive coaches made some great adjustments, and from that point on, you know, we really shut them down, you know, and it was tough to communicate early because it's loud, kind of like Autzen. So, you know, we'd get a check, but only one side would get it, the other side didn't get it. It was just a matter of getting all 11 guys. And actually, that delay helped us. You know, we had a chance to go over some things in the locker room. So when we came back out in the field, we felt like we made the necessary adjustments, because we knew everything was basically going to be 2-back. So how many different 2-back variations are they going to give you? And our defensive coaches did a great job.
The ball moves 98 yards to the other end of the field. That's where we'll pick it up in the second quarter. Tennessee has the lead, looking for more. Coaches pick it up. They have the ball on the 1-yard line. This is actually their second attempt to get in the end zone from the 1. And they just are able to force their way in, and this place is rocking right now.
Yeah, we did a nice job on first down. They got a little bit better push on second down. I was hoping we were going to get a goal line stand like we did against UCLA, but they were a little bit too big for us on the front line there when the ball's inside the 1. It made it a little bit difficult for us.
Coach, I thought this drive right here, even though the opening of the first play of the drive, a sack, to me, what Darren Thomas and what the offense did here really, again, created a little bit more confidence with what he was doing, get the ball out to midfield, and, again, even no points out of this drive, there were some plays in here that I think, again, were real boosters for these guys.
Yeah, and Darren really came of age. You know, we gave up a sack on the first down. We just missed an assignment up front, but then next play he comes back with a huge run to get us out, give us some breathing room, and give us an opportunity to punt, and then again, pin them inside the 15-yard line and then let our defense start to operate.
Jackson Rice, 43 yards. He had a great day. We'll talk more about him as we see some of his tremendous punting on the day, pinning the Volunteers back deep. Sims to more, then Sims for a couple. Poole going to take this one for 17 yards. They're still finding some gaps in the second quarter, Coach.
Yep, and again, our guys, it's just a matter of, a couple missed tackles here and there, but we felt like we're close, and the one thing about it is there's no panic going on our sideline. We know what we got to do to finish this thing off, and it's a matter of getting everybody running the ball and playing hard, and you're starting to see that now. The more white shirts that just keep showing up in the picture making tackles.
Well, and really for Poole, that was his last big run of the game. I mean, the Oregon defense really stuck it to him after that. 132 yards rushing in the first quarter. Tennessee had 50 after that, and that's it. And again, like you mentioned, Coach, some great adjustments defensively, and then the offense got it going here.
Yeah, and Darren, I know a lot of people made it out that he didn't run in the New Mexico game, and that wasn't by design. They just didn't force him to. These guys forced him to run, and if you do, you're going to make him pay. And then if you leave guys open outside, he's got a nice quick release. He's going to get the ball out to him and really made him pay with a quick game.
2 and 8 for 6 yards. Then LaMichael James starts to get it going here. Nice run up the middle for 11 yards. He follows that with a 12-yard run.
Yeah, great vision by LaMichael, and we started running some more downhill plays for him, and I thought we started to pick up the tempo, and we could feel like we were wearing them down a little bit and starting to take, these shots starting to take an accumulative effect on them.
Is this where we take a break in the show because I have a cramp in my leg?
Yeah.
They were able to stop some things, and they were trying to find a way to keep your offense slowed down. Coach, it's tough to do.
Yeah, good coaching, I guess, but you can't have everybody fake an injury.
Thomas out here rolls. Nice throw. Brandon Williams makes a great play down the sideline, cuts it back. 29 yards later, sets you up, and the Vols were able to hold you here at this point, Coach, but Rob Beard came in and made a really important 42-yard field goal to make it a one-possession game. Now you're within a touchdown. It all feels normal again.
Yeah, we're starting to get points, and we're starting to answer, and we're moving the ball. We started deep in our own territory and to drive and get a field goal out of it. We're starting to get some confidence, and you could see our sideline starting to get an understanding of where this game was going to go.
Here's where it all starts to slow down. 3 and out, basically, is what this drive goes, Coach. And again, the defense all over the place, swarming to the ball, gang tackling, making plays, and force Tennessee into a punt situation eventually here. And a poor punt it is that gives you guys good field position. And again, the momentum off of a field goal right after this.
Big 3 and out. We used the timeout in first down to stop the clock, and then they helped us out by throwing an incompletion on third down. So we got the ball back here in great shape with about 2:09 left on the clock with 2 timeouts, and put us in a 2-minute mode. But our offense is in 2-minute mode all the time. So this is kind of how the pace we play at, and these are the style we play at, and I think our guys did a great job with it. And Darren was really, really good here. We start off with a screen to David. David does a nice job of getting the ball at the field. We get the chains moving a little bit, and now we're rolling, and this is playing our style of football right here.
Thomas goes back to throw after that 16-yard gain. Looks for Paulson again. He's down on the ground. He just gets speared, and that's a 15-yard personal foul. That'll be a first down. That sets up the next play. Darren Thomas on 2nd and 6, looking for David Paulson.
Thomas on the snap to throw again. There's a blitz. They pick it up. He throws it down. It is Paulson. Touchdown, Oregon. David Paulson, when he makes the grab, it's a big one. And that is 6 points. And Oregon is right back in this ball game and an extra point away from tying it up with 1:04 left in the half.
David Paulson has a knack for making big plays, doesn't he, Coach?
Yeah, he's just a clutch player for us. I know people talked about losing Ed Dixon, and what do you think you guys are going to be like? But I know having David back, I had a ton of confidence with him. I think he's one of the more underrated players in our conference, and he's always where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be. He's Mr. Dependable for it.
13-13 at halftime. That's the way it ended. Tennessee almost had to give you the ball back. They were able to use just enough time on the clock. And you guys had to have a little extra step going to the locker room. Kind of felt like the Cal game last year, Coach. You could see, from a fan standpoint, you could see the speed was really starting to catch up, even though the game was close early. And then, we know what happened later in the game, but you guys must have been really excited to get back in the game, handle the crowd. Now we're back to even 13.
Yeah, we go in, it's tied at halftime, and I think we do a great job at halftime. Our coaches know exactly what we want to do. We're dialed in. We make the right adjustments. There's not a lot of talking that goes on at halftime. It's very business-like. This is what we're doing here. Here's our attack. Go talk to our players for about 5 minutes, and then head back out in the field and go play.
Coach, you look at, if I step back at the beginning of the game real quick, you guys win the toss, defer, and play defense first. And number one, what takes you through that decision-making mode? Because at halftime, it looks like a great decision based on the fact you got momentum, taking it into halftime, but why go on defense first?
Well, we had confidence in our defense no matter where we're playing. And then also when you get into a situation like that, you're playing on the road, you know, we just felt like deferring. I wanted to see what their offense was going to do. You knew they were going to be a two-back team, and I didn't think they were going to be able to really, you know, try to do some trick plays or things like that early. That wasn't their modus operandi coming in, and I just felt confidence in our defense. I like our special teams. I like our kickoff cover team. We felt like we could win some field position battles kicking off, and then the other thing is that guarantees us we're getting the ball coming out of the second half.
And you really settled down. You started making plays. Everything started to gel, so obviously taking that momentum into halftime was huge.
Yeah, and you also don't want to put your young quarterback on the road first snap of the game when the crowd's going crazy. You know, it's us on offense. So, you know, usually there's a buzz in that first series no matter who has the ball, and if you can allow it to be your defense, and which is the veteran group for us, you know, we just felt like that was the right decision to make.
I'd like to get a statistician working on the idea of if you score at the end of the half and score first to start the second half, the percentage of time you win the game. I mean, I imagine it's pretty high, Coach. You score at the end of the half and again to start the second half, that's got to be a huge advantage for you.
Yeah, especially when you're playing a younger team than you, and I felt like we were an older team coming in, so that touchdown right at the end of the first half was huge for us. You can go in the locker room, even though it's 13-13, you know, one side has a little bit momentum. You know, you can be beat, you could have been outplayed up until the last drive, but then when you score, it's almost like, you know, now these guys got the momentum now, and it's a game of emotion, and it really just who handles it better.
Well, as you know, the Vols are done scoring. The Ducks not started even yet. Getting going in the second half with some spectacular plays from the offensive players and also on special teams as well, and, of course, on defense. That and more coming up as we move to the second half right here on Oregon Football with Chip Kelly. Boy, you guys come out moving the football even though you didn't score on this first possession. This was kind of a sign of things to come. You're going to run the football here.
Yeah, we started off deep in our own territory, but, you know, we felt like we made a couple adjustments at halftime and really wanted to force the tempo here at halftime in the second half, and our guys picked up right where they left off after that last drive and established some field position for us.
And Coach, your players felt that Tennessee was starting to wear down. You said that at halftime. They were mentioning that to you.
Yeah, their players were mentioning it to our players that they thought our pace was too quick. So, you know, we really wanted to see if we could capitalize on that. And Darren did a nice job managing it again, handing it off when he should have handed it off, getting the ball to the receivers quickly and getting it out of his hands.
One thing people don't really know about LaMichael James is how strong he is at the core. People just think he's fast, but he's got all kinds of weight records that he's set in the weight room. He does a great job there, too.
Yeah, he's a strong physical football player and actually does most of his damage running up inside the tackles.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And again, this was part of the wear down process that you talked about, Coach. And even though you don't get points out of it, well, I tell you what, Rice comes in and just pins them deep. Twice inside the 20, twice inside the 10, and here's one of those 9-irons that backs up just perfectly.
Yeah, it was a great, we had a guy down there. That's our red zone punting team, and I thought the field position that Jackson gave us all day long was outstanding.
Sims gets outside contained, makes a nice throw. 14 yards on that play, but then comes back with a couple of incompletions in a row. So they have to punt again after this one gets knocked down. The defense flying around, so they have to punt again. The Ducks get the ball back, 1st and 10 on the 28-yard line after this incompletion for Tennessee. And that's when LaMichael James changes this game in the EA Sports play of the game.
Thomas, and here's first down from the Duck 28 on the handoff, and it'll be LaMichael trying to get it outside. He'll go left now. He's got a block. If he can get a little corner, he does. First down, 40, 45, 50 down the sideline. Cuts it back inside. Now back outside. Still at his feet at the 20. They go to the 10. He is going to dive into the end zone. LaMichael James with a world-class effort will score the touchdown, and they have quieted down here in Neyland Stadium. The noise you hear on the Duck fans.
What a tremendous effort here by LaMichael James, and obviously at the line of scrimmage where Tennessee does a good job defending it, he reverses his field, and then he gets help down the field from Darren Thomas and a lot of others, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know, our guys keep battling and playing to the whistle. You'll see Darren big here, LT 2-and-A big here. Drew Davis, who gets passed on here, will finish in the end zone. Jeff Mail throws a key blocker on the 5. You look at LT, keep fighting. Drew's coming back into the picture in a second here. Jeff throws a great block right here. There's Drew Davis showing back up in the picture. Great effort by not only LaMichael, but everybody. Starting up front and then downfield with all the blocks. And then I just hope Darren doesn't hurt his hand punching him in the helmet right there.
It's an instant classic. It will live forever on Duck Vision before the Ducks run out. One of the great plays in the last 15 years of Oregon football. Take the lead at 20-13. They come back and kind of a really big series for them. This is where veteran teams coach sometimes punch back and get back in it, and they almost did.
They did. They came out throwing a little bit more. The screen pass and then the ball over the top right here with the receiver, the big taller receiver going up over the top of Talmadge. But again, our players answered, and against a team like this, they're going to make some plays, but, you got to have an answer, and I think that's what our defense does, and you see everybody running the ball. This is a huge play for us right here.
From the shotgun, trips to the right, and Oku sets up to his left to block. With a snap back to throw. Pressure comes, the ball is out, and it's picked, and it's going to be a 6 if he's got the speed. At the 40, 30, can he outrun Sims? Cuts inside of him, and we'll go to the 5. Touchdown, Oregon on the pick 6. And you could see it when the ball left.
Well, Coach, what maybe gets lost throughout the third and fourth quarter are the plays that Bo Lacumbo makes. Coming in, pressuring this floating pass, of which obviously Cliff Harris breaks on perfectly. But Bo Lacumbo made 3 or 4 plays where he gets no credit at all, and yet he was credited with a lot of things in those plays.
Quarterback pressure, and you actually see Bo down the end of the field here. He's the one that throws it, almost tries to throw a block, gets in the quarterback's way. But young player for us, generating a lot of pressure on the quarterback, a great special teams player for us, and really the reason we had that play. We were in bracket coverage, and Cliff broke the way he should have broke, but really Bo forced him to throw it off his back leg, and that was the key to that play.
76 yards on that play by Cliff Harris. His 3rd touchdown of the year. He's 2nd on your team in touchdowns behind Kenyon Barner, who has 6 now. 1 to come in this game. They come back, Poole with a 1-yard run. Then they're incomplete. It looked a little bit like he'd broken their spirit a little bit here, Coach.
Yeah, you could see that they're not playing as hard as they were playing a little bit earlier. And Zach Clark running around, and he had a great game for us. Anthony Gilden just had a big break up there before that. And, we're playing inspired football, and I think we're getting, really what we want out of our team is to finish. And that's what we're talking about. When we get the big game close and going into the second half is that we got to finish.
He moved the ball a little bit, but then here comes Jackson Rice again, and he just does it again. 3 punts that were huge in this game.
Yeah, and Jeff Mail's our red zone gunner, and that's why he's in there to field those punts like that, and did a real nice job. And whenever you can pin a team and start them this deep in field position, it's going to help you.
Well, a few times in this game, you got them deep. They were able to maybe get out of it a little bit, even though the defense didn't give up any points. And on this drive, Coach, you do exactly what Jackson Rice puts you in a position to do, and that is the defense keeps them pinned, makes a lot of nice plays here. Obviously, Cliff Harris in position again, just playing center field out there.
Yeah, Cliff did a great job one-on-one coverage there, and they tried to pick on him a little bit. They had beaten Talmadge twice, but then, Cliff rose to the occasion, made a hell of a play right there.
27-13, Coach, wondering about on the sideline, because you could feel the game start to change. Maybe the guys are talking about, hey, let's just do not let them up, because you could tell that they lost a little bit of spirit, and Oregon was energized at that point going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it says a lot about our conditioning and a lot about what these kids have done in the offseason. We felt like we got stronger as the game went along, and it's part of our preparation going into it, and we knew going into the fourth quarter we got a little bit of a lead, but we got to finish this team off.
27-13 is the score. We'll move to the fourth quarter. It just doesn't stop. I mean, now you really have the foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah, and that's what great teams do. You got to finish somebody off. You can't allow them to hang around, and you also can't allow, if you do allow them to hang around, the crowd's going to get back into it. We felt like we had an opportunity to capitalize, and special teams was huge, and that's what we talked about was going to win this game for us, our special teams play.
In that third quarter, you really made them one-dimensional. 18 yards rushing is all they get after they piled up some early yards, and it just continues into the fourth quarter. Making a team one-dimensional like Tennessee, where they really had to throw it to try to get back into it, is a huge advantage for you.
It is, knowing what they have to do, and we felt like we got out to a double-digit lead that we're going to force them to throw it, and that's not what they wanted to do. They wanted to try to run the ball and control the clock. We felt like if we could get a lead, that our game plan would really start to take effect, and this is where it really, our conditioning, everything that we prepared for, took effect right here in the fourth quarter.
All right, Ducks with the ball here in the fourth quarter. Going to start out with Darren Thomas working through the air, and Mike, I know Mike, you talked about a little earlier about Darren Thomas, but this gives us a chance to talk more about how Darren really let the game come to him and played really well in this game, didn't he?
Yeah, Coach, I mean, you do take a look at it, and Joe and I have talked about it over and over again. Just little plays he makes here and there. Balls on the money. Even sometimes when he threw the ball away, he was making the right decision. He came of age, it looked like, in this game. game.
Yeah, and that's the Darren that we felt as coaching staff was when we decided him on being our quarterback that he was the best fit for us. And this is what we expected from him. You never knew, going into this environment what you were going to get, but it's really what we expected out of Darren. And he's getting better and better each week. And if he continues to manage a game like this, we're going to be pretty good offensively.
Michael to his right. Darren, snap. Gonna a little bootleg right, wants to throw it, goes deep. He's got him down there, and he threw it, but he caught it. Touchdown! What a grab by Lavoisier, 2-A.
Boy, just went and got it, didn't he?
Yeah, LT, I think this is his first touchdown, but he's been just such a integral guy for us in our offense, always moving the chains for us. And then Darren knows to throw it up. You got a 6'5" guy, he's got great range, great hands. He just goes up and pulls it away from him. It's just a heck of a play by LT right there.
I thought Darren did a really good job, too, Coach, of hanging in there. Guys in his face, just like on that play right there, and yet still putting the ball in there.
Yeah, Darren took some shots all day long, and their defensive line generated a lot of pressure and were really good. But when you got a quarterback that's tough like Darren that can stand in there, it really talks about what our offense can do when you got a guy that's not afraid of a pass rush.
Thomas Jackson in coverage there, incomplete, and Sims going to find more on 2nd down 10 for pickup of 5. On 3rd and 5, they try to go back to the throwing game. They throw this one and only going to pick up about 5 yards on this. The defense fly into the ball, and that sets them up to punt again, and Kenyon Barner standing at his own 20.
Good snap. No rush to speak of. Nice punt. Very high. Spiral almost turned it over all the way back to the 21 and a chance for the return. Barner right up the middle, and here he goes. The punter to beat. Outside at the 40. They are not going to catch Kenyon Barner. 10-5. Put it in the books. Kenyon Barner shows once again he is among the best in the nation.
Boy, tremendous return here, Coach, and he shoots the gap on what looks like it's a middle return. And he shoots the gap, and once he shoots on through, nobody else is there to be able to get to it.
Yeah, we had a middle return, but you see everybody blocked up really well, and our guys we talked to our players on that team, can you play harder than the guy you're matched up against, and can you play harder for longer? And that's what our guys do. Our guys on special teams take a tremendous amount of pride in the role that they play, and, you never know when your play is going to be the difference in the ball game, but that whole group, Javis Lewis, Marvin Johnson, you see Baseco's in there. Scott Grady did a great job. It's a total team effort, and that's what speaks volume about this whole group.
6 touchdowns in 2 games for Kenyon Barner. That sends people headed to the turnstiles on their way out in the Knoxville nightlife. And defensively, Coach, talk about Brandon Bear, Josh Cadu, Kenny Rowe in succession here.
Yeah, Brandon I think is one of the best in the conference. He's an all-conference type player. Josh Cadu, just ton of pressure on the quarterback all day long. Everybody kind of contributing. Kenny Rowe had a pass broken up, and there's so many different guys. I think we had 26 guys make tackles again on Saturday. We had 29 in week 1 and 26 in week 2.
Well, what's most impressive, and we talked about this last week, Coach, you get other guys in there now that you put Nate Costa and Remine and some others in there at this point in the game, and yet the offense is still working. Great run here by Nate Costa.
Yeah, that's the great thing is we do have some depth on both sides of the ball, and we took over with about 9 minutes to go and just kind of ate up the clock and ran the ball. I think everybody in the stadium knew what we were going to do. We were trying to work the clock a little bit, but kept 2 tight ends there and tied down the edges and kept running the ball. But to watch that second unit go in and get a touchdown drive was a pretty good thing to see.
The gentleman, Remine Alston, with the touchdown in front of his friends and family who drove over from Greensboro, North Carolina. Great to see his family get a chance to see Remine play so well in that final quarter against the Volunteers. That's the final score, 48-13. Guys are clearly excited, celebrating with the fans after the game. It was a great scene down in Knoxville at Neyland Stadium. Let's go into the locker room and hear what the kids had to say.
Oh, they had some good players on defense. Their core was good, but like I said, running our offense and the tempo is just a thing that you got to relate to and pick up to, and they just didn't do it.
End of the first half, they were dead tired. Even when they were talking to me, they were tired, and some of them, I think they're faking hurt because they're so tired. But that's the way we play. We're gonna play fast and we're gonna play hard every down, and we're gonna wear guys out.
We just kept hitting them, trying to keep pounding them. You know what I mean? And it kind of slowed them down a little bit. And then once we took the lead, it was done from there.
The biggest thing we did is we just relaxed and did our thing. Guys were a little uptight, anxious. It was a big game, big stadium, and once everybody calmed down, relaxed, and realized their responsibilities and keys, we were fine. We did great.
I've seen guys hands on their head back. Our pace it's kind of hard to keep up with. It's hard for our defense in practice to keep up with. So coming down here, we kind of expected to wear them down a little bit. That's really not about the SEC. You know, it was us against Tennessee. I think it was a good test for everybody on the team. Playing in a hostile environment in front of 100,000 people, and I mean, we came out a little bit flat in the beginning, but we really picked it up in the second half. And I mean, it's a great win. Anytime you can come in the SEC and win on the road, or any game on the road, you can win. I think it is a big plus.
We came out, just kind of shaky at the beginning, but once we got settled in, we had a good game.
Well, I feel like we never really started slow, you know what I mean? They got that early fumble on our kick return. So, you know, we had all our confidence, even though with the thunderstorm, you know, we just had to come back in and settle down. And our offense never did touch the field, so we feel pretty good.
I think we had guys who were really anxious, you know, all excited, really anxious, and we kind of lost some of our responsibilities. And so maybe you could look at it as a surprise, but the biggest thing was once we got calmed down, got our feet underneath us, we were all right.
It doesn't say much, you know, we come in here, do what we're supposed to do. I mean, going into any game, you have to do what you're supposed to do.
Coach, one of the big things, you know, a veteran team and maybe a team that's not so veteran, even though I thought they got a little too much credit for being overly young, they got plenty of seniors in their lineup, you know, but your team clearly is a veteran team that knows how to win big games, play in big stages, and it really showed in this game.
It did, but I mean, I think everybody, it's all relative. You know, our quarterback was his second start. You know, both our running backs are sophomores, so we got some young kids in the secondary that are playing, but it's, you know, you're as old as you act, you know, and I think we have a mature team in terms of how they act, and it doesn't matter if you're a freshman, whether you're Josh Huff or Ricky Amuli, who contributed for us, or Drew Howell, who played in his first game ever. We didn't get an opportunity to punt the New Mexico game, and that was a big unknown for us, and to have guys like Robbie Beard in the first game he ever played to kick the way he kicked, and Drew Howell to go in and snap the way he did in the punting game, you know, it just speaks volumes to the type of football team we have, and it's a real mature team no matter what class you're in.
Oh, Coach, I mean, the players, as well as the fans, love to see success all the time, but having a little bit of a challenge there at the beginning of the game, having some things go against you in a hostile environment is going to take this team a lot further than having it be easy all the time.
It is, and it's not going to be easy all the time. We play in a conference where we have to play everybody, and you know, there's a lot of really good football teams on this schedule coming up, and when you get tested and you grow a little bit, you know, and I think that's the unique thing about going to play in this game in that environment was an awesome experience for our players, and it's something that they'll be able to call back to when we face some other adversity down the road this season.
I hesitate to bring this up because I know how you feel about it, but I feel like I have to, given the 6 million people that are watching us here on this program. But up to 5 in the coaches poll, it's nice to be recognized. Is that a safe way to put it?
It's great.
All right. It matters at the end, of course, what the poll is. But number 5 in the coaches poll, Coach. I know. Congratulations to you, your kids, your team, the program.
Do we get a trophy?
You don't get a trophy yet, unless we can make you one.
Week 2.
The week 2 trophy goes to the Ducks. Yeah. Just like last year when you told the kids, you know, congratulations, you're the halfway Pac-10 champion, and then they realized you were kidding.
Fired up. Fired up.
When we come back, we're going to talk about your next matchup against Portland State. The Vikings coming in. It was supposed to be Central Michigan. The Vikings, though, will take their place after Central Michigan backed out of the agreement and decided to play a little different schedule. So we'll talk about the Vikings and also a closer look at the 2 running backs that have really lit this conference on fire, LaMichael James and Kenyon Barnes. The Portland State Vikings coming in. Boy, they got nothing to lose. They'll come in ready to play football, won't they?
Yeah, you know, they had a big win over Cal Davis, and our whole opportunity that we have right now is we talk about we compete against a vision. We go out and prepare against a vision, and then we go play. It really doesn't matter who our opponent is, whether it's New Mexico, Tennessee, Portland State, USC, Cal, Stanford. It's how we prepare and how we play. And if you're a great team, you really not look at your schedule and say, well, it's these guys, so we just take the week off. It's not going to be that way. You know, we'll be in Pats tomorrow, and we're going to go flying around and do what we do, and that's all we know how to do. And they've understood that when we practice really, really well, we play really, really well. And so it's on them this week to see how well we practice.
And it's really, what you're saying is it's about you guys, taking care of yourselves and then just continuing to get better and better each week.
Yeah, and not because it's Portland State or anybody else. It's always about us, you know. And if we prepare for USC and we don't up our performance based upon who we are. Outside influences shouldn't affect how you prepare. It's about setting the pace. And if you set the pace, you win the race, you know. And we learned, and I talked to our guys before the first game, is that, you know, Steve Prefontaine didn't care who he ran against. He went out and ran from the front, and that's what we want to do. We want to run from the front and get going. And hopefully those guys have learned from the first 2 games we played. We still need to get better in a lot of areas. You know, there's still improvement. There's a lot of things we can get better at as a football team, and there's a lot of growth we can have as a football team. And it's an opportunity for us again this Saturday. And the great thing about it is we're home, and our kids love playing at home.
Now, there's a reason that, you know, folks have to play the game, right? You got to come and watch the game, play the game, because, look what happened with James Madison, Virginia Tech. You still got to play the game. Same situation, same divisions, same level. James Madison beating Virginia Tech.
There always is. Week 1 it was Jacksonville State over Ole Miss. Every week you're going to pick up the paper and be like, wow, did you see that score? And it's really, I think all that stuff isn't done on Saturday. That's done in that week preparation going up to the game, and what is the mindset. And we'll find out what the mindset of this football team is on how well they prepare starting tomorrow.
Well, one more game before the Pac-10 play gets here with the trip to Arizona State. Portland State coming up, as I mentioned, 3:15 start. You can see that right here on this very station. Coach, congratulations. Tremendous trip to Tennessee. Incredible scene. The Ducks putting on a major national show to all of their new fans and all the fans that have been with them for all these years. To see something like that was really special. As a Duck, to see that, it was something that nobody will ever forget.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We relish playing in these games. I love playing huge out-of-conference games, and hopefully we can continue that. It was a great venue. Our players will have experiences that they're going to take with them for the rest of their lives, and hopefully things that, as this season continues, that we can go back to that Week 2 game and kind of go back and learn some of the things that we learned that day.
All right, Mike, Coach, thanks again for coming in, everybody. We appreciate everybody's time. I want to thank you, of course, for watching the show today, and we'll see you next week as we recap that Portland State game right here at this very same time. For the coach, Mike Jorgensen, I'm Joe Johnsante. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time on Oregon Football with Chip Kelly.